Surprise! Yes, surprise. I'm here for a little bit. It's late, and who knows if my brain will function, but I pretty much owe you something after the disaster of the other night. Hello, Starla. Hello, Amber. Mary. Hey, Ruth. Ruth. It's good to see you guys. Thank you for being here on a crazy after Halloween, after candy. Anybody OD on candy? Yeah, so I thought we'd play. A little bit. I will not be here on Friday. Today is Wednesday, so day after tomorrow I will not be here then. I'll be back on Monday. Hello, Connie. Hi, Linda. Hello to you and Tim. I will be back on Monday. So I thought we would do this tonight. That way there's something. Hello, Peggy. You had no candy? I didn't either, Starla. I don't do candy. Even on most days I don't do candy. I really don't. If on the outside chance that I ever do candy, I do too much candy and get it all out of my system at once. But that doesn't happen very often. Truly doesn't. Saint Barb and all that, you know. Yes. Oh, I got my studio cleaned up. You guys, I got my studio cleaned up. I actually have surfaces in my studio that don't have any crap on them. It was really getting bad. It was really, really bad. I mean, to the point that Monday night after I streamed, I was like, I should stop streaming. I should never do this again. That was how it felt Monday night. I know, right? Oh, some days. Not very often do I have that kind of feeling, but Monday was one of those. You shouldn't do candy. You should not do candy, Amber. Is that who said that? Yeah, see, I'm not, you would be very sad if I stopped. No, I'm not going to stop. This is in my DNA now. I know that my body, I'm just trying to get the crud off of my mat, the fusible. Monday night after I got done with you guys, I went to clean my iron even more than because I hadn't cleaned it very well, so I decided on Monday night after I got done with you guys I would clean my mat. And I was talking on the phone and my smoke alarm went off as I was cleaning my iron. That's how bad my iron was. However, see, it looks much better. So if you don't have hot iron cleaner in your life, I suggest that you do. No, it's part of my life, my DNA. It's just sometimes when things just sort of pile up, it's like the cameras don't, a camera or camera shots or something. I never used to have any problem with any of that stuff. And then my broadcast software had a giant update. The computer had a giant update, and it just takes a long time about the time everything settles out and they're all talking to each other the way they should and be all nicey nice. Then something decides to update again. It's super frustrating. Anyway. Hello, Tori. So, I have surfaces that are clean. Well, clean is I have surfaces that don't have any stuff on them. Let's not give me too much credit for having gotten the dust rag out and dusted the place, because the first thing I have to do is get stuff organized so I can find it. I couldn't find anything, and it was that, and it was the cameras, and it was chance driving me crazy. I almost said a bad word. Sorry. Anyway, enough complaining. Things have settled down remarkably well since then, until today. And we'll talk about that. So anyway, let's take, this is what I was going to do on Monday, and I got myself sidetracked and didn't do what I was going to do on Monday. So we're going to do what I was going to do on Monday and didn't. Okay? So what I have here, first of all, I have a pressing surface on my desk. So I have a pressing surface down here. That's this. I have an applique pressing sheet, which is it's like a heavy Tim Holtz kind of mat, but it's sold through quilt stores, and it's an applique pressing sheet. So that's what's next. And this is a piece of watercolor paper, which is like about 11 by 13, I think. Let's see. Yeah, 13. Yeah, 11 by 13, give or take a little bit. Well, you do that, Amber. That is fine. We'll see you when you get back. Oh, yeah, I hate that too. When that happens, YouTube updates and then you lose something. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating, isn't it? So anyway, Monday night, what we did was we were playing around with this concept, which is a collage background. And this is based on, inspired by, whatever you would like to say, inspired by, let's say that. An article in the Holiday magazine, Somerset Studio, put out by Somerset Studio. They did all theirs in paper. I did this one in fabric. I'm doing this just so you can see the sparklies of the ornament of the fabric that I used. Now, if you wanted this ornament, I mean, this is just a note card. If you wanted this fabric, when it's white like this, to be really white, you would need to fuse this to either white paper or white fabric, okay? And then fuse that whole thing down to the background. That way it would block out the background, because if you look, you can see the background through it. So this is where we are, and what I ended up doing after the stream was over on Monday is I backed the card with a piece of cardstock, a maroon cardstock, just to make it have a little more presence. And I've decided to put it on a dark green folded card base, because the ones that I had accidentally bought were not folded. They were single card bases, so there was no fold. It was just like a postcard type thing, and that'll still work. There's nothing wrong with doing that. It just wasn't what was in my head, you know? And then after I got it all done, then I used a black Micron Pigma pen, and I just did some kind of sparse outline type stuff around it, because the ornament was kind of fading into the background a little bit. And I did a little more line work. Let's see if we can get the camera to focus. Okay, we're gonna have to come in this way. If you don't succeed at first, try it a different way. So I dotted the wiggly line that I put down the center of that little gold piece of fabric, and did a little, detail with that just to do it. I could do more, but I didn't. So anyway, this is just kind of my test thing. Okay. All right. So here's what we're going to do. What I intended to do the other night, sidetracked myself. Oh, here was another experiment I did. I used a tube of gold fabric paint, and I played around with outlining, just some ideas for adding the gold fabric paint because I really don't have any stickles. And so I thought, well, I'll play with that and then let it dry and see what it does. But it's really hard to control those fabric paints in the squeeze bottles. You know, if I could really control the flow of that, it would be one thing, but I really have a hard time controlling that. So I opted not to use that, but to use my Pigma Micron pen and do just a little bit of outlining. All right, you guys here? All of a sudden, this chat came to a screeching halt. I hope you're still here. I need to get a pair of fabric scissors. I'll be right back. Okay. There you guys are. Okay, I see the chat moving. It's when the chat stops moving is when you get a little freaky as a broadcaster. All right, so I have all of my pieces of fused fabric. So this has all been pre-fused, which I tortured you guys with having to watch this the other day. I fused all these pieces. These are just quilting pieces of quilting fabric. And I fused them with Wonder Under on the back. And then since then, I have trimmed all the way around the edges so that I have fusible all the way up to the outer edges, so I won't waste anything. Hi, Darla. I've already wasted whatever I'm going to waste. Okay? Okay. Sorry, I just have to have a drink. My body is doing much better. However, periodically, if I just talk nonstop, which is what happens when you stream, if you talk nonstop, it can kind of get you. And so, okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of lay out some stuff, and we're going to make one giant piece of paper that is fused with fabric. All right, so we're just going to put some stuff on here, and we're just gonna build it randomly. It doesn't make any difference what is gonna happen. We're just gonna build stuff. So this morning, oh, let's see, that's not right. Last night, it happened last night. And I am not thinking about this when I'm doing it. I'm just doing it, okay? So last night was Halloween, which I truly don't do Halloween, not for any big reasons other than I don't like it, you know. And my house is not shaped. My house is just not shaped well, and all I'm doing here is just kind of laying this out to start with. Once I kind of get my bearings on where things are going to go, then I will lift up. I'll take the paper backing off the back of these pieces. I'm going to take the paper backing off, and then I'll use a little bit of glue stick to glue it in place, and then we'll fuse it all, okay? So last night, I was watching TV, and all of a sudden, there was a giant loud bang in my garage. Sounded like somebody had gotten shot. Okay, I mean, that's how loud it was. It was super loud. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? And then I immediately thought, I have heard this sound before. What is it? And then I remembered, it's the sound of a garage door spring breaking. And sure enough, that is exactly what happened. I had a garage door spring break. And very fortunately, I wasn't out there, and no one else was out there. And I was like, not so good, because that means my car's inside where the garage door. My car's inside. My car is trapped. My car is trapped in the garage. And then I'm thinking, oh, I don't have to worry about that, because I know how to disable, like when the electricity goes off and you want to get out, I can still get out. This is not a problem. This is not a problem. Yes, it's a problem, which I discovered this morning. Guess who just Guess who has arrived on scene, you guys? Guess who has arrived? Okay, well, apparently we're going to have a chance break. We're going to have a little chance break while we talk. Come here. You can't get up there. Come here. Are you coming up here? Come here. Come on. Come on. Come here. All right. Come here. Come on. Yes, we have to have a chance break. Here we go. Here he is. No, the spring did not hit the car, because it is the way the spring is in the door. It's a torsion spring, so it has a rod or something that goes through the middle of it. So when it breaks, it just, unless it would disintegrate, that would be a whole other problem, but that's not usually what they do. Usually they just, the spring finally gets old and breaks. And it's like, well, it just seems like it was just the other day when these doors got put in. But that's not true. It had been over 20 years since those doors had been put in. Yeah, so I don't think... Sorry, my watch is talking to me. I don't remember if that spring had been replaced in that amount of time. Anyway, yeah, so my car's trapped in there. Nobody got hurt. Years ago, the springs were the long springs, and you had two of them, one on each side of they were actually what pulled the door up. And years ago, when those would break, this was before the days of safety cables. That was a huge improvement when they came up with safety cables that would go through those springs, because then those springs, they were not torsion springs. When they would break, they would, with the safety cable, that cable would keep the pieces together. We had one of those break probably 40 years ago, when we lived in a different house before the safety cables came out. And if I had been in the garage then, when that one broke, it probably would have killed me, because it punched a big hole in the... Hi, Sheila. It would have punched a great big hole in the... It did punch a great big hole in the garage wall, which would have been my head. Anyway, yeah. So, all things being considered, it was really nice that it broke under the circumstances that it did. Okay, are you ready to get down and go away now? Since you've spoken and you've let everybody see your pretty face. Yes? Can you look at the camera so everybody can see how darling and adorable you are? Are you so adorable? You're so handsome, and you know it. Would you like some catnip? Would you? Let's see if we can get him to go in the other room. Come on. Well, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. There you go. There you go. Have fun. Any hoot, you know, I'm just really grateful this didn't happen when my house sitter was here and I was gone or anything like that. But then the next issue is my car is trapped in the garage. You know? Hello, Andrea, and anybody else I missed. Okay, we can go back and work on this now because he's busy. So, sorry, cat hair. Phew. So then the next thing is my car's trapped in the garage, and I'm like, this is such bad news because I don't like to be trapped at home. I am the kind of person, I don't have to go out and talk to people every day, but I do need to get out of this house, and I need to see people every day. I need to see people. I need to be in the presence of other human beings. Yeah, so, okay. All right, I'm going to take some of this. Yeah, I really do have to be in the presence of other humans. I really do. I can't just act like, oh, it's okay. I don't really need to see anyone. You know, one of my friends, bless her heart, she could stay at home. She lives out in the country, and she can stay at home for days on end, and she is just fine. That is not me. That is not me. I have to be able to get out and see people. And besides that, I need to go have a cup of coffee. He is funny. The cat is a stitch, isn't he? He is. So I'm just building, you know, kind of getting a collage going here. And this has fusible web on the back, which I have pre-trimmed so the edges are even. And we're just building one big sheet of just laying it out. That's all I'm doing is laying it out. And then what we're going to do is take, once I kind of get things sort of figured out, then we're just going to start gluing it all down. Okay? That's what we're doing here. We're just kind of filling space. So anyway, my car is trapped in the garage. I'm trapped here in my house, which, you know, lots of people would just think that was wonderful. Hey, Marilyn, good to see you. A lot of people would like to be able to stay home and be trapped in their house. People, that is not me. Like I said, I don't have to sit and talk to people, but I at least have to be able to see them sometime. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we got that. Oh, here, we'll use this little piece since it's just sitting here. I'm just spreading the colors around. When you're doing stuff like this, let me move this over to sketch. when you're doing stuff like this, if you want to kind of build a balance sheet of whatever, so the colors are kind of spread around, which I'm going to cut this into smaller pieces when I get it done. Yeah, I'm glad it didn't snap. Yes, I'm glad it didn't snap back then. It would have scared the crap out of me, Ruth, if it had done that. When I was cleaning the garage, if it had snapped back then, it would have scared the crap out of me. It probably wouldn't have hit me at all, but I would have had a heart attack, and that would have been the end of that. That would have been it. Yeah. That would have been it for Barb. Anyway, if you want to look at things like this and figure out whether it's balanced or not, what you want to do is squint. Once you get it going, then squint. Close your eyes like this, but you can still see through them. That's when you can tell if colors are balanced and if you kind of got things spread around somewhat evenly, We're just creating a patchwork of things, colors, mostly colors. And don't stress over this because there's no point. There's no point because you're going to come in here and, by the time I start gluing this stuff down, it's all going to reposition anyway. So there's no point in worrying about it. Just stick it on here. Stick it on there. Okay. All right. Let's do some of this one. So I got up bright and early this morning, not because it was my choice to get up bright and early this morning. I got a phone call bright and early this morning, and so that woke me up. Well, what didn't wake me up, but it forced me to get up, get my butt out of bed, which I can lay in bed and hit the snooze alarm, the snooze thing on my phone more times than I care to admit. But that's what I did. I just kept doing that, and then I got a phone call, and I'm like, get out of bed. So I finally did. Anyway, it was good because then I called the garage door people. And the first one said, well, are you a regular customer? And it's like, well, I don't know if I'm a regular customer because my husband was a general contractor and he used to use one of the companies here in town. In fact, he was part owner in one of the companies here in town, and I don't know which one it was. So quite honestly, I don't know if I am a regular customer or not. I don't remember. Okay. At this point, I've got it almost kind of filled up, and so I'm going to start taking this apart a little bit, pulling off some of the paper backings and just kind of putting it back together here and there. And yeah, so that's what we're going to do here. Okay. So I'm pulling the release paper off the back of the fusible. So the fusible is still on there, but the paper is now going to be gone. And just a little bit of glue stick to hold things in place. Otherwise, stuff wants to shift and move, and that's real frustrating. Okay? It's super frustrating. And that is, I know, Andrea, right? That is an actual thing, Before they invented the safety cables for the regular garage doors. I don't know if they even do the regular garage doors now or not. I truly don't. The torsion springs are a thing. Anyway, so I call, and one of the companies says, are you a customer? After they've taken all my information, don't you know, of course. Said, well, the soonest we can get to you is November 10th. And I mean, immediately I have almost heart palpitations as I'm thinking, I'm going to be stuck in this house by myself till November 10th. That is the first thing that went through my head. I kid you not. It was almost like a panic attack. Almost, but not quite. Anyway, so I said, boy, that just won't, that won't do. That won't do at all. I can't do that. I cannot, nope, can't, that will never do. That will never work in my universe. That will never work in my universe to do that. Yeah, Chance is right here with me, and so is Muppet. Hi, Josie. Josie, I am making a sheet of paper. It's watercolor paper, and it is covered with fusible, fused fabrics. I'm just simply using the glue stick. So this is paper on the back, paper-backed fusible web. I'm peeling off the paper. The fusible is still on the fabric because it's heat activated. And then just a little bit of glue stick to hold things in place as I am sticking these on my watercolor paper. And to which I will then be cutting them down, cutting the background down once I build it. So it's basically, this is known as a master board, where you make one big thing and then cut it down. And then what I'll be doing is making note cards out of it. Okay. I built this one at a time. We're going to say that that was my sample. It wasn't, but we'll say it was. This is what I did Monday night. This is definitely going to be more efficient. All right. And if you can't get the paper back off easily, you take a pen and you scratch the paper. Don't scratch so hard that you scratch all the way through your fabric, which is possible to do, by the way. So don't scratch all the way through. Just scratch it enough to break up the paper. Most of this paper, I've handled the pieces enough that the paper is kind of loose anyway. But, you know, as soon as I tell you that, then it's not going to come off. So you just scratch it. It's just like you crack the paper. You see how it's cracked it? And that allows you not to pick at the edges, which in this instance, picking the edge, you know, fraying the edge is not going to make any difference, because it's just, this is just a thing that we're making. But if this were applique, that you were doing a fabric applique, you would not want to do that, because it would actually fray the edges, and that's not good. If you fray the edge, of the applique pieces, then it makes it not easy to stitch down. You end up with all these little hairy edges around the applique. All right, now I realize that the way I'm doing this is probably laying it back down on here is probably radically different than the way I originally laid it down. And, you know, quite frankly, it just doesn't matter. But I just kind of need to get my bearings in the beginning, so I kind of knew what I was doing. So I called two different garage companies, garage door opener fixer companies. I have a whole little stash of these little pieces that I had left from the other night, Monday night. So we're just going to take little I'm just looking to see if I have something that's easy to plug the holes. Pinking shears would be cool. Where, Marilyn? To pink the edges, you mean? You certainly could do that. You certainly could. The other garage door company, repair people, he was very nice. They were all very nice. It's not that, but you know, the employment issue that we seem to be dealing with, the employment crisis, and these don't have to all be straight. They can be wonky. So we're going to make some of them go wonky because we can, in spite of the part of my head that goes, no, you can't do that. Because my head does not like the wonk factor. Anyway, so one company could get me on June, that would really be horrible, on November 10th. And the other one couldn't get to me till tomorrow afternoon, but I won't be available tomorrow afternoon. So then I have a repair guy that has done some work for me, which he's been a significant blessing to have around. And so I thought, well, I'll send him a text and see if he has any ideas, you know, could he possibly see if he could possibly come over. So I sent him a text message and he said that he'd come over this afternoon. Okay, now I have plenty to do here. You know, I mean, that's why my studio got cleaned up today. I started it last night because when I get stressed out about stuff, I know a lot of people do a lot of things when they get stressed. I clean. I clean. I don't get stressed nearly often enough, by the way. Not nearly often enough. Yeah. Not nearly often enough. If you know what I mean. Hello, Sherry. Good to see you. Do you, Starlet? Oh. And I'm not going to purposely put myself under a bunch more stress. I'm not doing that. But I should. Yeah. Anyway. So, the studio got organized, which is really good. I'm really grateful for that. But as the day's going on and I'm waiting for the guy to come to look, I'm feeling more and more stressed because it's like, I need to get out of this house. And I could have gotten out of here and I could have walked to, wherever I wanted to go. Yeah, I could have. But it was billy heck cold today, man. It was so cold. We were in this cold snap. We still are a little bit. I mean, it's still chilly, but whew, it was cold this morning and last night. It was like 20 degrees or some craziness. Some crazy thing like that. Okay, do you kind of see the idea? We're just kind of building this patchworky thing, you know. However it comes out, it comes out. We're just going to keep going. Just build it We're going to build it and see what happens. That is true, Ruth. That is true. The question Ruth raised was, how is it even possible to be a regular customer for something that breaks only every 20 years? That is a very valid question, Ruth. I don't know. Maybe they think that I have lots of garage doors. I don't know. Yeah. Isn't that funny? It's a great question, though, isn't it? It's a good question. Ruth, you raise a good point. And so, finally, I hear back from my guy, and he said that he would come sometime today and take a look at it and see what he could do. And I'm like, oh, God bless you. I love you. You know, I've told you that I need a car husband, a house husband. You know, my friend and I, we each lost our husbands 6 months apart from each other. And that's what we decided. We had to have many different husbands to replace the ones we lost. You make up weird games in your head when you go through stuff like this. You make up weird things. Yep, that's what you do. And so we need a car husband. We need a house husband. She's since remarried. And so she has somebody that is those things. But prior to that, we were having lists of all the different husbands that we had to have. So anyway, this guy is my house husband. So house husband called this afternoon. He sent me a text. Texting has certainly changed the way that we do things. Yeah, very much so. And so he sent me a text and said that he could come over and take a look and see what I had going. And I'm like, God bless you. I love you. And he did. He came over. And he said, I think I can go, probably go get a spring and put it on. And he said, that shouldn't be too hard to do. What he forgot was that you got to find the source to buy the spring. Because you see, these places that sell these parts, they don't want to sell you the parts. They want to come do the job, you see. There's a method in their madness. They want to come do the job. And so then they upcharge the spring and all that stuff, which, if my car wasn't marooned in the garage, and at one point I thought, this is not a problem. I can get out of this garage. I know how to do this. You pull the ripcord, and you raise the door. Okay, let me explain something to you. Here's the part about that, the fallacy in my system here. In case some of you don't know what it would be, I'll tell you. The ripcord, you can pull that, like if the electricity goes off, you can pull the ripcord, which disables the door from, the door from moving up. It does do that. But the spring still works, okay? The spring is still connected. The problem when the spring breaks is that the door is like 125 or 150 pounds. Well, I happen to be fairly strong, but I'm not strong enough to do that, I wish I were that strong, but I'm not quite that strong to heave-ho a 150-pound door up from dead weight. And so I couldn't even budge. I couldn't even start to budge the door. And I'm like, oh man, this is such bad news. So that's when the claustrophobia, as crazy as that sounds, that's when the claustrophobia really started to set in, because I'm like, I can't leave. I can't leave. Ah. Well, I am Wonder Woman, but okay, Amber, good. I am Wonder Woman, but not so much Wonder Woman. You know, I'm just sort of Wonder Woman, but not that much. You know how I said that this piece didn't have to be straight? I've changed my mind. Even though this piece is going to get cut down, okay, even though this is going to get cut down, yeah, and I'm also going to cut it down. Even though this piece is going to, the whole thing is going to get cut down into smaller and smaller bits, smaller sections. That piece right there that was yeah, as one of my good friends would say, she called it yeah, anything that was like that. Yeah. Can't do it. Barb can't do it. So there you go. I know. Call me crazy. Call me crazy. People just call me crazy. All right, let's put... I know. Yeah, I could leave, but my car couldn't leave. And I could have walked down to the grocery store. It was just too bloody cold. And on top of that, you know, I thought, we'll just put you here like this. We don't care if things are lining up too perfectly. Okay? Okay, so we've got almost this much patchworked together. Let's put one more piece here. So, my house husband showed up at 1:30, and then he tells me he thinks it's not going to be a problem, and so he goes to get the spring, and then he can't. They're making it, you know, the suppliers don't want to sell him the spring because they want to come do the job. And it's like, well, if you would have agreed to do the job to begin with, you know, if you would do the job, which is what I asked you to do to begin with, I asked you to come fix it, but no, you couldn't do it right now. So sell somebody who can do the job, sell them the parts. And, okay, here's the other thing. Yeah, whoops. The other thing is you have to have special tools to tension the spring right. It requires not one, but two. So they sold him the spring, but they would not sell him or loan him the tool, plural, tools. Wouldn't loan him the tools. Okay? Now, what kind of crazy system is that? They won't loan you the tools and they won't sell them to you. Probably they don't want to be responsible for somebody getting hurt, which is probably the whole crux of that deal, which I understand. I do. I get that. You know, I get that. We used to be in that kind of business, not the garage door business so much, although Claus Man repaired plenty of garage doors. And in his day. But do I know where the tools are? Did he have the tools to do that? Probably. Do I know where they are? No. Of course I don't. Of course I don't. Why would I know that information? Why would I know that information? So anyway, house husband comes back. House husband has the spring. Yay. That he's been overcharged for, but nevertheless, at this point, I would pay $500 for the spring so I can leave home. Because I need to leave home. Right? I need to leave home. Someone's going to get hurt if I can't get out of this house. Someone is probably going to suffer if I can't get out of this house. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, all right, we're just going to stick this right here. So he's back, and I hear him out there, and I'm like, oh, God bless you, house husband. I love you, house husband. I just really appreciate you. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you. I'm so grateful, and I'm just busy being grateful because house husband is back, and he's working out there. And I went out and I said, I'm assuming that you had success getting the spring. And he goes, I did. He said, it was a bit of a challenge. And I said, yeah, how so? And so we talked about the challenges. And then he said, but they would not sell me or let me borrow the tool at all. And I'm like, it doesn't surprise me. There was something back. You know how you have these things that they're back here somewhere in your memory bank? And there was something back there that was the thing about the tool. I thought that I remembered from years gone by that there was a special tool to do these garage door springs or something. I remembered Claus Man complaining about that or talking about it or something. I just, how it is like back here. Maybe it's up here. I don't know, somewhere. Any hoot. So, house husband, I've told you about cleaning my garage, right? I did this like a year and a half ago. I cleaned my garage, maybe 2 years ago, year and a half. I don't know. It was in the summer, over a year ago. So I cleaned the garage because I just had to make my garage not look like Claus Man was coming back at any moment, which is what it looked like. It's like, nope, I got to change this because if I don't change this, I'm going to lose what I have left of my head is going to go away because I can't do this like this. I have to rearrange. So I did. And so, he and I had talked about that at some point. So he remembered that indeed there were lots of tools here, and he just rooted around until he found one tool that he had that worked, and he rooted around in Claus Man's tools, and he found a second one that would work. I'm like, he said, I hope that was okay with you. And I said, are you kidding me? I have to get out of this house. I'm very happy. I am very happy. Is there anything you would like? Would you like my firstborn child? Would you like Chance? Would you like Muppet? Is there anything? I even tried to pay him. I tried to ply him with some extra farm fresh eggs that got delivered today. I was going to give him some of those. But he has a plethora of farm fresh eggs, so I couldn't even do that. It's like, this is terrible. Anyway, so, yeah. I know I'm being melodramatic. It's like, you have got to, yeah, I'll give you anything. Just get me out of this house. And, the thing is, I love my house. It's not that. I love the neighborhood. I love my house. It's not that. You guys, I just can't be here all the time. Can't. I'm not my friend I'm not my girlfriend who can do that. I don't know how she does it, but bless her heart, she can, I can't. Yeah. And, if I had to be here for an extended period of time, I would probably live streaming because, I would live on camera. I would live my life on. I'd be one of those. I would be one of those weird, twisted people. You know that when live streaming came out, you know they put the camera on and they were just live 24/7. That'd probably be me. Just to have people to talk to. It's so sad to admit, but it's so true. It is so true and so sad. Yes. Anyway, you guys, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. Okay, so I'm going to pick up another piece of fabric here that I haven't used yet. This fabric is called, are you ready for this? Star Sprinkle. That's the name of this fabric. Isn't that a cute name? I saved that. Star Sprinkle. I thought that was cute. I know. This is fabric. What are we applying it with? This has Wonder Under. It has Wonder Under on the back of it that I have fused in place with heat. And I'm just using a glue stick. Once I peel the paper off the back, I pre-fused all these and then cut them down so I had nice edge-to-edge fusible web. And then just to hold them temporarily in place, I'm using a glue stick. Okay. Hopefully that answers the question, Sherry. If you need more information, let me know. I have a little tiny piece of something here. I'm going to put this on here. I think this has fusible web on it. I'm pretty sure it does. We'll find out. If it falls off later, we'll go, nope, it didn't. That was just Barb's imagination. Okay, so what I'm going to do here for a minute, I'm going to kind of scooch all these little pieces over, okay? Before any of this, because sometimes glue stick doesn't stick long term. Sometimes it dries out and doesn't cooperate. So this part's all been put in place. And I'm going to put a press cloth on here. The iron is already heated up. Hopefully there is no adhesive on my press cloth. And we are going to fuse this in place. Yeah, I'm sticking it to watercolor paper. It's 90-pound watercolor paper. Who can pull someone from the dark? Are you talking about me, Amber, or Andrea? I know, Star Sprinkle. Isn't that the nicest term? Oh, believe me, if I've done anything to help you guys back from the dark side, you have done it for me in spades, believe me. Okay, so this should have this fused in place. To the paper. It could be fused on fabric. It could be fused on other things, but I'm fusing, in this case, I'm just fusing it to a piece of 90-pound watercolor paper. So it's going to be something that I can glue or use double-sided tape on to stick it onto a card base like this. So, yeah. Okay? All right. So we're going to continue building. So, let's see. The next part of the saga, what happened? It took House Husband a while. I don't know, a couple hours or something to get everything done and, you know, make makeshift tool situation taken care of. Rummaging in Clausman's tools, which was, I'm so glad that that was available for him to do. It was excellent. And so he got the spring up there, and he says, while I'm tensioning that spring, he says, I'm thinking, boy, I hope this thing doesn't turn loose. And I'm like, oh, don't. I'm glad I wasn't out here watching you do that. You know, I would hate to have house husband disappear into the night because he killed himself with my garage door spring as he was doing something for me. I would hate that so much. I can't even tell you. Yeah. So fortunately that didn't happen. Fortunately he did quite well, and he tested it, and the garage door goes up and it goes down, and I'm so happy, and I paid him, and he felt bad about what he had to charge me. He says, you know, it just cost more than I anticipated it would. And I'm like, you know, I said, look, you got to do what you got to do. I'm so grateful that I can leave home now. I didn't tell him that, but man, I was sure thinking it. I was sure thinking it. Yes, ma'am, I was thinking it. Yes, I'm thinking it, boy. And how long do you think it took me to leave here after house husband got the garage door spring done? Anybody want to guess? Grateful is a great feeling. Anybody have any idea how long it took me to get out of here? Anybody? Yeah, exactly. Amber's about right. About 3 seconds. Oh, man, I got out of here fast. I was like, I mean, it was funny. I got out of here, and I was like, once I got out of the garage, I'm like, oh. It was like somebody getting let out of it. And my house isn't that tiny. It's not huge, but it's not that tiny. It's not like being locked in like claustrophobia or something. No, it wasn't like that, but I sure have an appreciation for the ability to come and go. Believe you me. Oh my goodness. I'm so thankful that I got out of here today. So thankful I got out of here today. I went into Hy-Vee, which is my grocery store that's close to me. I can walk there if it weren't, so flippin' cold. I could have walked there today with no problem. It was just too cold for my blood today. Too cold for my blood. Anyway, I drove in there and I walked in, and I know all the kids that are that work, the baristas. There's a Starbucks kiosk in there, and I know all the kids that work in there. And I walk in, and she says, "Oh, how are you?" And I said, "I'm fine. I am so much better." She said, "Do you want your regular grande?" And I said, "Nope, I'm having the giant one. I probably won't sleep tonight, but I really don't care." I've had no coffee today, and it's not that I can't make my own. I just choose not to. I choose not to make my own coffee because I like to go someplace. I like the experience of going out, going away, leaving the premises. Yes, I like to leave the premises. Thank you, Ruth. Yes, it is like, yeah, snowed in. Yeah. Let me tell you, snowed in, I will risk it. I will bundle up and I will walk. And I will walk. But, by then, when it's cold like that, and it's snowy and all that, by that point in time, the dealio is that I'm used to the cold. Right now, I'm not used to it. I'm not ready for 20-degree weather. I'm really not ready for this 20-degree stuff. Not right now. It's looking pretty good, don't you think? Yeah, the edge of the paper is right here. So we're closing in on the edge of it. So I think we're going to start here and kind of work back toward the middle. It really doesn't matter because we're going to cut it up into pieces. Oh my goodness, I just sat there in that booth and with my coffee and my snack. And I was just grateful. Just great. You'd have thought I'd been locked in a cage for a month. That's what you would have thought. How crazy is that? It's the thing about, I thought I was going to have to tell the Starbucks barista my life story. Just because it's like, you don't know the trauma of this day. You just don't know the trauma. Come on, Barb. Get over it. I know. But that's how ridiculous it was. And I knew it was ridiculous at the moment, but it was super ridiculous. Yeah, it was super ridiculousness. Okay, back down here. Hey, Kathy. That's not a problem, Miss Kathy. That is perfect. That is just perfect. Yeah, I thought I was really going to have to unload on the poor little girl at Starbucks and say, oh, you just don't know. It's like, how, I almost say, how are you? Tell me how you are. Tell me what your life has been like since I saw you last 24 hours ago. Like, I don't live with anybody. I don't talk to people. If somebody calls me on the phone, I talk, but, the rest of it, you talk like this. You talk like this with your fingers. You know what I mean? It's not the same. It's not the same. That's why my friend and I, the one that she's been married almost a year, and she's the one whose husband died before Claus Man did. And we got together. What, Mupp? What? And Muppa can't hear anything, but do you know what time it is? Okay, you guys know what time it is? Where I live, it is 10 p.m. on the dot. On the nose, it is 10 p.m. Do you know what that means? It means that this dog thinks it needs to have sorry, I got a text message I didn't realize I'd gotten. That means that's when she's supposed to get her bone, dog bone, before she goes to bed. It is 10 p.m. on the nose, and here she is, staring and looking at me. The crazy dog. I don't know how they tell time, but they do. Don't know how they do it. Okay, don't stress out of this. Just put these down. I make you laugh. Oh my God, it was just one of those days. I have a totally different appreciation for my garage door, for my ability to move around. Whew, doggits, it was a day. Yeah. It was a day. It was a good day. I got the studio organized. That's why I had to come see you tonight, because it's like I can't save this story until the next time I see you. If I save this story till I see you, you won't get the full effect, because by then I'll be all calmed down. And if I'm all calmed down, then you miss the whole trauma of the whole event. Yes, you miss the trauma of the whole thing. Right? I'm glad that I make you laugh. That's the whole thing. You know, there's just too much seriousness in this world. This world is just crazy. It's crazy. And you know what? We got to lighten up, people. You don't know how many days we have on this earth. We got to lighten up and start enjoying them a lot more and admit our crazy. Muppet, I'm not going to give you a bone right now. She thinks if she stands there and looks at me long enough that I'm going to just get over my fine self and go get her what she wants, which is, we used to have to spell. Okay, this is how ridiculous it is. When you have to spell in front of your dog so that they don't know what you're saying, that is ridiculousness at its finest. And we used to have to do that. We used to have to spell. Is it B-O-N-E time? Because she was so darn smart that she knew what we were saying. Hey, Dana. I know. Hi, Vicky. Your dog's the same way? Wow. Yeah, this is a collage background. This is fabric that's pre-fused, which means I fused it the other night. And we're going to make cards, note cards. Okay? So we'll cut it apart and at least get the base on what we do for the focal point, you know, whether it's ornaments or trees or whatever. We're not going to do that tonight, but at least we can get the base done. We used to have to spell because of the crazy dog. Have to spell. That is just that's insanity. You have to spell in front of your animals. Oh, speaking of animals, I don't know. I have not seen this book in person yet. I ordered 4 copies of it, however, to use as Christmas gifts. Any of you that follow the Golden Ratio 4, that's the couple that takes in golden retrievers. They take them in, they rescue them from they take in hard cases. They take in medical cases and hospice cases, and they take some real tough. Those people, their hearts get broken over and over and over again because of what they do, which to me amounts to a ministry with dogs. You know, they take them in, they care for them, they love them. Anyway, the wife is Jen Golbeck, and she wrote a book called The Purest Bond, The Purest, P-U-R-E-S-T, The Purest Bond, and you can get it through a business called Honest Dog Books. I think you can pre-order it on Amazon too. But anyway, I think it will probably be a very good book. And so I just wanted to give her a shout out. The book, I think it gets shipped or it's coming out. I don't know when it gets shipped exactly. But they're doing pre-orders right now. They're trying to get listed on the bestseller list. The dog that's on the front cover, her name is Vink, and she is very photogenic. And so they're trying to get Vink on the bestseller list. So if you can, if you have any interest in supporting golden retrievers and rescue, and if you have any interest in dogs, I think it's going to be a good read. So I've bought 4 copies because I'm going to give them as gifts. So there you go. It's good to encourage other people. I have watched them. They put up a daily video on YouTube, and I've watched them long enough that, boy, I've seen some stuff, and I mean, I've cried with them. I don't even know the dogs, but my heart knows the dogs. Yes, I've cried with them when the dogs, you know, life is over. I'm telling you, I'm just a big old softy person. I rescued enough dogs too. Are you guys still here? Chat got real quiet. I could just be sitting here talking to myself. That's entirely possible. Hi, Donna. Oh, thanks. Well, I'm glad you're here, and thanks for subscribing. That is great. I'm just sitting here talking away. I don't normally stream at this time of day or night or whatever it is. This is an impromptu. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for letting me know. I know, it's one of those things. We're almost done with this, and then we'll fuse the rest of it together. We fused part of it. I do like how it's looking. And as I said earlier, if you're trying to see if something's balanced, like if you've got the colors kind of spread evenly around, squint. Squint your eyes, and then you will, that will help you figure out whether you've kind of got the distribution of color or pattern or whatever it is you're trying to evenly distribute. In this case, because I'm going to cut it all apart, it doesn't matter so much. Okay, somewhere here I have a pin. Oh, how do you, here it is. I was going to say, how do you lose a pin? It feels so much better in my studio tonight, you guys. It feels so much better in here tonight because, now, mind you, it would have felt better if I'd dusted it and vacuumed. But I didn't do that. I didn't go that far. I didn't want to push it too hard. You know, I was already having enough trauma today. Yeah, I was already having enough trauma over the garage door. I didn't want to push it that hard. Did not want to push it that hard. I know. Gotta laugh. We gotta laugh, you guys. Gotta laugh. I spent enough time crying, believe me. I cried a lot for a long time. Okay, let's put this like right about. Yeah, let's do this. I'm going to overlap this a little bit more, and then I'll put another piece in there. Oh, what was I saying? I don't remember. Okay. So, we got to laugh. We got to be nice to each other. We don't have to believe the same thing. But we do need to be tolerant of each other and be kind to each other. Okay? Promise me you're going to be kind to somebody this week. Especially the people who really challenge you. Yeah, especially those. Those are the ones that you really need. Those are the ones that really need the kindness the most. The paper on the release paper on these fusible webs, oh my goodness. It has so much static cling, and it will cling to your fingers when you're pulling it off. It's so frustrating, so annoying, super annoying. Yes. Superbly annoying. All right, let's see if this will go up here. We're almost there, you guys. We're almost there, and then we're gonna call it good, and we're gonna fuse it. And if you want to hang out a little bit longer, we'll cut it up into pieces. See, now this was perfectly even edges, and then I caught it with my finger and I raveled part of it out. But you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm refusing. Oh, Ruth. Ruth, you are the equivalent of dad jokes. Ruth. Yes, Miss Ruth, you are the equivalent of dad jokes. Ruth and I chat back and forth sometimes, and yes, we get each other. So what else has been going on? Halloween, we talked about that a little bit. Halloween happened. I was too busy being traumatized by the garage door spring to, I can't answer the door. I cannot answer the door. No, that's not possible. I wouldn't answer the door anyway. Only because my house is the wrong kind of shape for answering the door. The only way to do trick-or-treaters here is you got to sit outside. And my son actually used to do that. He and his girlfriend used to sit outside and trick-or-treat. They did that once or twice, and trick-or-treat, you know, gave out candy and stuff. And I'm like, bless you for doing that. That is so not my wheelhouse. And my house is not shaped for trick-or-treat. I would have to go up and down the stairs 1,000,000 times. I'm not into it. Not into it. Oh, you guys, I don't think I told you this. In my neighborhood, wait, I got to show you this. You will not even believe this. Let me finish this up, and I'm going to show you some pictures. I only have 3. I won't subject you to a whole bunch. I have 3 pictures of this house in my neighborhood that is the most awesome. It's the most, I'm not even into Halloween, but it is the most awesome display of Halloween stuff. I just happened to stumble across it when I was walking with the dog. I may have told you about it, but I don't remember, because I've slept since then, and we all know what happens to Barb when she sleeps. Okay, so I might, since I just have these couple of pieces here, I may just stick these on just because I can. Let's put this one right here. And let's see, do I need this one? Not really. Not really. Okay, I don't really need those. So we'll just stick those over there and stick that over here. All right, let me go ahead and fuse this, because we have all the pieces. The sheet is now covered. Okay, so there's my watercolor sheet, but I'm not going to turn it over until I fuse it, because if I turn it over, there may be some pieces that come off. Ruth, somehow I knew that about you. Somehow I knew you would like dad jokes. So this is a press cloth, which has seen better days. It's actually just a piece of muslin, I think. I use muslin as press cloth. Sometimes I buy press cloths, that are sold that way. They're a little different texture. So sometimes I do that. And if it's something that's a really good, like a really good piece of fabric, which I don't tend to sew with that stuff much anymore, but I used to. I would use silk organza, or cotton organdy is really good as a press cloth. But they have a limited shelf life. Every press cloth will get skamey and nasty after a while. And so you need to get rid of them, and start fresh. Okay, so before I press this from this side, we're going to get rid of this because all these little ragtag edges here will have fusible web. That until it is fused down to some other surface, will reactivate every time you hit it with heat, unless you completely melt it, which is possible to do that too. You heat it way too long and you actually make it disappear and absorb into the fabric. So, but this needs to get trimmed up here so I can press it from this side and not glue it to the bottom of my iron. I told you last night I was cleaning the bottom of or Monday night I was cleaning the bottom of my iron because I got it so gooped up with fusible web, which was one of the many reasons I thought I'm a fail at streaming. I can't even keep my eye. I mean, I was really feeling so sorry for myself Monday night. I don't even know what in the world got into me. Anyway, my smoke alarm went off. I'm like, great. Now what am I supposed to do? The smoke alarm has gone off. My fire alarm was going off. I'm like, oh man. Okay, we're going to give this a quick shot of heat from this side, just so we're sure that we have gotten the heat. All right, so here we go. We have made our own collage of fabrics, and you really cannot screw this up. You really can't. You just really can't screw this up. So I'm going to show you this awesome Halloween display. It is too much. It was too awesome for words. I don't even, like I said, I'm not even a Halloween aficionado. But let me show you this. Dorothy? Dorothy, what in the world are you doing up? Isn't it too late where you are, or is it early in the morning where you are? Which is it? Okay, here you go. I don't know if I showed you this or not. If I did, pardon the redundancy. Oh, it's not going to show very well. Okay. Let me start here. Here. Here it is. Okay, let's try it this way. See if zooming in will do it. Oh, there we go. Got it. Look at this awesome display. Okay. So there's one picture. Right? 3 a.m. Dorothy, I did not wake you up. I did not. No, I did not. Okay. So this is a close-up picture of it. Okay, this is a band. They're all playing band instruments. All the skeletons are playing band instruments. Okay? I don't know what song they're playing, but anyway, this is a snake skeleton, which is woven right here, which is woven on this fence. I think the fence is part of the display too. I don't think that fence is actually in their front yard. But this skeleton is hauling the coffin, and there's either a kid skeleton, I think it's a kid skeleton with a doll skeleton, I don't know, I didn't study it that closely, sitting on the seat with that skeleton. These skeletons have on hats and capes. Okay. Oh, and up here on the edge of the gutters, those are like bat skeletons. Is that amazing? I know, the hats or something, right? And then there's one more. And so there's this one. Okay, so this is, and this, I'm not sure I had a very good picture of it, but that is, let me see if I've got it. Here it is. That's what's pulling this wagon, is this, it's like a full-size skeleton, horse skeleton. Okay? This right here is their mailbox. It's in the way. But it's a full-size skeleton of a horse, and these snakes are slithering around. There's at least 3 of them, and this neon sign says hello there. I'm telling you, the horse. Where do you store that stuff? And then over here, so you can see the horse right there. You can see the head of the horse. It says, what does that say? St. Louis Cemetery number 1. That's what that sign says. So this is a whole cemetery around here. There's skulls and there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, I'm not into Halloween, but I really have to appreciate what these people have done. And there are like druids or something back. I don't know what those are. Maybe they're witches. I don't know. But this whole fence, I think, seeing their skulls on top of the fence, I think the fence is all part of the display. I was trying to figure that out without just standing there and gawking. But you know what? That was a most awesome display. That got billing in my journal. I'm just saying. Rosemary, what are you doing here? It's too late for you people. What are you doing here? Good to see you, Rosemary. All right. So do you want me to cut this up, or are you tired and ready to go home? I mean, I am home. We all know I've been home. But when I got out of this house today and I went for coffee, I sat there after I'd, heard the life story of the Starbucks girl and told her my life story and the trauma I'd experienced today. After that, I went and I sat down, and when I journal, I have a whole journaling bag that I take with me, and it has at least 3 journals in it. The bag is so darn heavy, I about need something with wheels, and I about need a cart to haul it in with me. And then I have all of my stuff that I do, that I use. I have all my stuff with me. And so I get inside and I spread it out, get my big giant coffee and my snack, and I sit down in a booth, and I'm just minding my own business. I got a YouTube video on, earbuds in. I'm in my own world. But I get to see people, and I'm around people. That is the whole point of this. And this man that was sitting in a booth behind me, I don't know, he gets up to get a refill or something, and he goes past me, and he's coming back. He says, "It's a great place to do homework, isn't it?" It's like, how old do you think I am? And I just said, yes, it is. You want to see it? Okay. All right. Okay. I'm going to have to go in where who is. So he's going to come out and talk to everybody. We know that because that's how he is. And I need to go get a ruler. Did you see him come streaking out of there? He sure did. He came streaking out of there just like he owned the joint. Well, that's a little close. That's a little hard to see anything now, isn't it? How about if I get out of the picture so you can actually see it? You still can't see it all. Let's try again. There you go. Now you can see it. All right, so we're going to give ourselves a clean edge. And I'm going to have to stand up so if my head gets in the way. I'm sorry. My rotary cutter is dull. So it requires a little more effort. And things like this, like these little things, these are good edges to, if you like to art journal or write, write in a journal. Those things are kind of good to have for that sort of thing. Now, ideally, in a perfect world, you would have a ruler that was long enough to go from one edge to the other. But I didn't bring that long ruler in here. It's not that I don't have it, I just didn't bring it in here. Chance thinks it's time to eat. He's right. I feed him at this time of day. Alright, sorry if my head's in the way. Let's see if I can even this edge all the way up. Okay, there we go. When you're using a rotary cutter, and I give this lecture over and over and over and over and over, close it every time you set it down. Alright, so let's see what is our best use of this. Okay, this is... Okay, so if we do... What size was this? 4 1/4, is that right? I think it's 4 1/4 by... Let's see what I did, because I don't remember. I've slept. Alright. So for these, I did them basically 3 3/4, and that gives me the chance to put a mat behind it, which I kind of like. So 3 3/4 by 4 7/8. Well, could I make that any more convoluted? If I don't write that down, I will not remember that. 3 3/4 by 4 7/8. Yeah, I couldn't make that any more convoluted a measurement if I tried. Okay, so we're going to do 3 3/4 across here, okay? If I don't screw this up. Once it gets late like this, the chances of screwing this up are markedly greater. 1 2 3 3/4 would be to right there. Let's see if I want to do that. I think we'll make it 4, because I think it's better that way than if I do mess it up. I've got a little bit of room to trim it up. All right, and then what will I get going the other way? So if we do 5 going the other way, 5 inches going the other way, how many can we get out of it? Hello. Nope, I'm not talking to you right now. So I'll get 2 going the other way. Okay, all right. So we're going to do them 4 by 5, right? Let's just double check one more time. I don't trust my math this time of night. Okay, that would be 4, and that would be maybe 5 1/4. We'll do that. 4 by 5 1/4. Then I can always trim them down. Okay, 4 by 5 1/4. I can always trim them down if I want to. Okay, 4 inches. All right, Bob's your uncle. Let's do it. Let's cut 4. 1 2 3 4 inches. Okay, we got one. All right, we're going to go again. Let's see what we can do. See if we can do it again. All right. Yes, chance. I have to be up early in the morning. Okay, I did not do that correctly because I'm measuring from the wrong end, you see. I didn't think it looked right. It's okay. That's all right. We'll have that one that we'll end up matting a couple of times. You know, it's like I said, you gotta trust your. You need to do stuff like this when in the daylight, when you're fresh. Yep. And all of you yard birds sat right here and nobody told me. You probably did in the chat and I didn't look at it. Okay, then when you have a strip like this left over, this is good for doing bookmarks. Okay, so and this I could cut down and make into bookmarks, which I might do that. I don't know. Anyway, so we're gonna go 5 1/4 here. All right, so let's see if Barb can measure from the correct side of the ruler this time. You have an extra 1/2 inch over here, which skews the measurement. It's a whole quilting thing. All right. Measuring from the part that is the correct place to measure from, we're going to go 5 1/4. And if your rotary cutter slips a little bit, it may not be totally square, which is what happened there, but we just don't care. It's too late to care, you guys. It's too late to care. Okay, we got 2 out of that one. All right. So I would have gotten 6 out of this piece if I hadn't screwed up the first one. And that's all right. We'll just make do. One more. And we'll take that other one, that other narrow piece, and we'll cut it up. Just like this. Okay. All right, so we got some little bitty pieces for some stuff, and then we'll go ahead and cut this one up because we can, Okay, 5 1/4. And one more. So aren't you guys glad that you didn't have a traumatizing day like I did getting locked in your house? Okay. So here we are. So we got 2 narrow ones and we have 4 regular ones. And then we have a strip that will work well as a bookmark. So a bookmark, if this gets cut in half, which we can just go ahead and do that. So what's the width of this? Measure from the right side. All right, let's go 5 1/2. So let's just go ahead and do it because we can. We're here. We might as well. Or you could turn these, you could turn it into tags. You know, you could be a tag. Doesn't have to just be a bookmark. Put it on a piece of cardstock and turn it into a tag or a gift tag. That would work as well. Okay, so let's see. What did I do with the card bases I have here somewhere? So we'll have just a quick look at this. I got the card bases out. Oh, here they are. Let's say I got them out, but I don't know what I did with them. Okay, so let's pull out, you know, because what we got is what we got here. All right, so you can see on this one where I cut it. Actually, that's not too bad having it narrow like that. They do not have to be the same all the way around. Okay, they don't have to be the same all the way around, but I might cut a little bit off the bottom of this. Lady True North, the new rotary plane fun. You like it that way? I kind of like it that way too, but I like having something around it as well. You know, an extra little, I like having an extra little something around it. You know, kind of like that kind of thing. So it has a little something, or black. I like black around them as well. But it could be just fine like that. It can be just like that. So, okay, there's that one. Let's look at this one. Different color of green. So these are the ones, the cat and the dog are now getting very, well, that has a wonked up fold. It came like that. That's frustrating, but oh well. We can always blame it on the mailman. So there's another one. So you can have, you know, if they're asymmetrical, they're asymmetrical. So you got that. And then here's I don't know what this is. Let's look at some white ones. I try to keep these in all different colors, because if I have them in all different colors, then you have variety. Okay, so there it is on a white background. I like it on the white. We'll look at it on the green, just so you can see it on the green. So there it is on green. Actually, I like it on the white the best. Let's see what kind of funky red this is. Kind of a funky pinky red color. I like the white so far the best. I don't know what you guys think. Anyway, so there's that one. Okay, so let's look at this one. This pinky red might work for this. And these are warping a little bit from the watercolor papers, warping a little bit. So I will stick these down using score tape or a double-sided tape. It doesn't have to be score tape, but that kind of tape, a good double-sided tape. Oh, look at here. Violation. It has violated the rules of fusible web. That's what happens when you heat it too much and you melt the fusible. So when that happens, you just repair it, right? Nothing that a little tacky glue can't fix, you guys. Nothing that a little tacky glue cannot fix. Another thing you can do with this sort of stuff, if you choose to, is once that glue is really good and dry, you can actually do some machine stitching around the outside edge. So you can do that. And here's another one. Let's see what it looks like on white. And of course I'm going to put an ornament or a tree or something on here as a focal image, I think. But it wouldn't have to. It could be like that. Oh, you guys, he's on it. He's on it. So I think we're going to have to wrap it up. That's why we have glue in our lives. That's right. Anyway, so there you go. There's that. Here's this, right? Here's this. And you can see now if we put this on a background bulk it up a little bit. Oh, look, it just fits. And make a nice bookmark out of it. Punch a hole, put some ribbons or fibers on it. Bob's your uncle. We took a piece of watercolor paper, which was 13 inches by 11 inches. That's what this was. 90-pound watercolor paper. Covered it with fusible fabric and pieced it together, cut it apart, and you got your own note cards. And so I will take this this pretty stuff and either cut trees out of it, you know, just a triangle tree, or ornaments like I did on this one, and just add a focal image on it if I want to. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. Yep, you can weave strip. You can do all kinds of stuff with these, whatever you want, right? Thank you guys for being here. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for hanging out with me, keeping me company. My nicely cleared off table is now junked up. It is all your fault. I'm going to have to put it back together again before I go to bed. That is a fact. But before I can do that, I have to take care of this cat and this dog because they are about to starve to death. They're about to starve to death. So before anyone calls the ASPCA on me for being cruel to my animals, I got to go take care of them. Thanks for hanging out with me. I will not be here on Friday. This was what you got tonight. Instead of me being here on Friday. It is now 11:45 here. I'm going to turn into a pumpkin at any moment. Thanks for being here. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I will see you on Monday night at 7 Eastern. Until then, be kind to people, be kind to yourself, and remember to get creative today because you know it's easy. I'll see you before you know it. Bye for now.